I never let you down, I'ma shine on sight. Keep your mind on your grind and off of mine's alright. Right hard, I'ma ball on them squares. I float in $250,000 cars everywhere I go. I know in the lead it may seem me might be, but no matter what they doing, they don't do it like me. Like a G, I hold it down for the town I'm at. In a flash like that, recognize I'm back. I'm back.
BFTB, best fight the best. So I'm gonna start this week out. This is gonna be my duck hunting season week. This is my duck week. Man, one of the greatest ducks. And I know we can go back in history and we can talk about Riddick Bowe and Lennox Lewis and stuff like that, but I'm not even going into that. I'm a millennial. I'm looking at these new ducks. What you looking at right there? Golovkin ducking Andre Ward. So let's first bring out what a duck is. You know what I'm saying? Let's just bring it out. Let's just clarify so we're all on the same page. A duck. When you call for something, get it, and then turn it down. As there's option number one. Option number two, when you are in line for something, 100% in line for it, you are next up. It gets to you and you avoid it. It's a duck. When you are, not when you call for it, but when you are looked at as the guy, you are looked at as the woman, you are looked at as the one, and then you looked at as being avoided and, whatever the case may be. But then it gets to you. You get your shot. And you avoid it. That's a duck. All of these things Golovkin did. This man was just running through everybody. People were like, oh, nobody wants to work with Golovkin. Nobody wants him. He can't get a fight. He can't. Everybody's ducking him. Everybody's avoiding him. Nobody wants nothing to do with Golovkin. Why can't these guys step up and fight Golovkin? Why can't they take risk and fight Golovkin? It's such a big risk to fight Golovkin. The Sergios and the Cottos and all these. Why can't they fight Golovkin? Why? So Golovkin comes in and he was a humble dude, and he was just beating the brakes off of people. And they were pushing him like, yeah, this is the guy, this is it. You had Abel Sanchez pushing him, and so Abel Sanchez is the one that started this. I will not only Golovkin will not just beat anybody from 154 to 168, and I believe there was one time when he said 175. You know what I'm saying? But I know for a fact he said he will not just beat everybody from 154 to 168. He will knock them out. Nobody will go the distance. Nobody. They will not go the distance with him. And he was on a tear, going through the ranks, destroying people. And now nobody was questioning the level of competition of the fighters that he was fighting. Nobody was questioning it. And then when you did question it, it was, oh, why are you hating? Why are you hating on Golovkin? Why are you hating? Why can't you, you're just a hater. And then, being that he was of a Caucasian complexion, and he's a Caucasian, you know what I'm saying? It was the race thing came up. The race thing. Oh, you just don't like him because he's white and he's beating all your favorite fighters. You just don't like him because of that. Like it had nothing to do, not for me. It had nothing to do with that for me. I can't speak for everybody, but it had nothing to do with that for me. For me, I was a Golovkin fan. I was a big time Golovkin fan, big time. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and it all started out with the because I didn't see the Proskauer fight, but I did see the Rosado fight. And when he stopped him in 7, man, I was like, this dude is a beast, man. He's a beast. But Rosado, he's a good fighter, but he just takes a beating all the time, pretty much. He's a blood sport type of fighter. Not necessarily takes a beating, but he always looks like he takes a beating from every fight. You know what I'm saying? So it had the effect of he took something savage that he perhaps may not have taken, but I think he did. He got his ass whipped. So that just. Everybody was just like, man, Golovkin is the man. You know what I'm saying? This dude is a monster. And then the Ashita came out, right? And he just destroyed Ashita. I'm like, okay, well, Ashita he wasn't the greatest, you know what I'm saying? But he wasn't like the bum of bums, but it was like, all right, well, but nobody wanted to fight him, you know what I'm saying? So then he got the Macklin fight. And he's like, he destroyed Macklin, and then that's when he really started to get on a tear. It's like, man, he's like, this is it right here. He's going to do something special. You know what I'm saying? This guy's going to do something special, and we were all pressing for it. Well, I'm not going to say we were all, but I was pressing for it because I thought at the time Golovkin was the goods. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't tell me anything about Golovkin. You couldn't. Because, like I said plenty of times in my videos about this man, he was calling for it, and he was making it happen. You know what I'm saying? He was calling for it, and he was making it happen. And the people that he was trying to fight didn't want to fight him. You know what I'm saying? They weren't trying to fight him. So with the Curtis Stevens fight, that to me that was the fight that we were like, man. This might be something serious right now. You know what I'm saying? If he gets past Curtis Stevens, then this might be something serious. Because you got to realize, like, Stevenson, if I'm not mistaken, his last 4 or 5 fights, he was just knocking people out. Like, knocking them out, like, done. Actually, you know what? There was one fight in there in his 4 before that. One of his 4 before that he actually went a UD. You know what I'm saying? The UD lost or some shit like that. But he was still doing his thing, put it that way. He was looked at as the guy that might put a stop to Golovkin because he had pop. You know what I'm saying? He had bang. He had fought at bigger weights. He had fought at smaller weights, but he had bang. So we was like, man, this is it right here. This is the test for Golovkin with Curtis Stevens. You know what I'm saying? And then he went up in there and stopped that man. Man, I was like, damn, that was it. And then at the press conference, man, at the presser, this dude is like, that's when they brought up Ward, because Ward wasn't reaching out for them. They brought up Ward at this press conference. At this time, I am a diehard Golovkin fan, diehard. You know what I'm saying? You couldn't tell me nothing about the man, diehard. But he's at the press conference. He's just like, yeah, if we ever fight Andre Ward, that's a good fight for us. The Andre Ward's a good fight for us. And again, Ward was not calling these guys out. He was at 168 doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? I think he was actually on his hiatus at that time. Hey, he was, as a matter of fact. And but Golovkin's like, not Golovkin himself, but Loeffner was like, oh yeah, if we ever fight Golovkin, it'll be a full 168 because Golovkin's a champion and we don't see him coming down from that. Blah blah blah, all the nonsense. And I was okay with that. I'm like, damn, yeah, he did save anybody from 154 to 160 to get that work. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, shit, I'm looking forward to it. Whatever. So at that time he had picked up his steam, and then he had the Adamas. And they're like, well, Adama isn't a bum of bums, but nobody wants to fight him. So shit, he's just caught with what he's caught with. And then the Gill fight, which put him over for a lot of people, the Daniel Gill fight, because they were thinking that Daniel Gill was just going to outbox this dude, and he went in there and destroyed Gill in like 3 rounds. And then the icing on the cake was his next two, the Marco Antonio Rubio. They was building him up like he was something. And I wasn't really diving into people's resumes back then. You know what I'm saying? I was taking a lot of things for face value, which is a lot of what casuals do. You know what I'm saying? So I was a semi-casual back at that time. But I am built into a hardcore at this time. But back then, I was a semi-casual. I ain't gonna front. And I was just taking things for face value. You know, and they would say Marco Antonio Rubio was such a great boxer and blah, 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 you know, and I'm taking it. So I can understand where these casuals are coming from, which is the reason why I can always school them, because I know where they were at. But at the same token, you know, he destroyed Marco Rubio. So we was like, damn, all right, man, this dude's the goods. And then he came right back, and he, with Martin Murray, that was actually a good fight for a while. You know what I'm saying? And then he ended up stopping him late, which was like, damn, okay, well, his power, not only is he a good boxer, but his power transitions through the rounds. It's not just early power, you know. With the Martin Murray, we stopped him late. So the first sense of ducking for me was a Willie Monroe fight. I didn't understand why he fought that. I really didn't. Willie Monroe was not a mandatory to nothing. But I'm like, all right, well, shit, nobody else wanted to fight him, and the man wants to stay active. That's how I justified it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to fight him, and the man wants to stay active. So he fought Willie Monroe, you know, and I'm like, damn, well, shit, Willie Monroe is undefeated. He's a good boxer. Well, he wasn't undefeated. I think he had one loss. But he was close to it, whatever. But he was a good boxer. You know, I'm just like, okay, you know, maybe he didn't have a lot of knockouts. I don't think his knockout percentage was low, but yeah, he had only one. Yeah, he had one loss. So with that one loss, with not a lot of knockouts, it's clear he doesn't have the power. But being that he was a bigger guy, I was thinking, well, perhaps his boxing ability might show me something that I don't already know. It didn't. He got stopped. But then they started talking about this good boy shit, and that was like, hey man, that wasn't sitting right with me. But whatever. I'm moving along. David Lemieux. So a lot of people are going to say David Lemieux is a bum. David Lemieux is this. I didn't look at David Lemieux like that. I didn't. I'm not even going to sit here and lie to nobody. I didn't. I looked at David Lemieux as a contender. You know what I'm saying? The Willie Monroe thing sort of threw me off just a smidge with the good boy shit and all that other nonsense. But I looked at David Lemieux as a contender. I looked at him as a champion, not just a contender. You know what I'm saying? He was an IBF champion at that time. And dude was a monster, man. His punch, like flat-footed as fuck, but punching power out of this world. Like disgusting punching power. And there was no, so this was the thing, right? There was no, at this time back then, it was no Mexican style fighting, Mexican style this. It wasn't none of that shit. It was just straight up, the man was just going to fight. Golovkin was just going to fight, period. That's all he was doing. I'm just going to fight. But it was at this time between the Willie Monroe and the David Lemieux where Ward came back into the picture. And, you know, Ward's like, okay, well, you was calling me out when I wasn't in the picture. You know what I'm saying? I came back, I shook the rust, was popping. And then all of a sudden, everybody's like, oh, Ward can't fight. He's trying to fight Golovkin right now. Like, and everybody knows that Golovkin has a fight with David Lemieux already signed. Well, we didn't know it was signed. They did that deal behind closed doors. It was in the works. They were talking about it, but it wasn't. We didn't know it was signed. And since it's behind closed doors, how the fuck would Ward know it was signed? You know what I'm saying? All he was doing was coming back out from what y'all call him out. You know what I'm saying? So that was my first little bit of then my second hesitations right there. I'm like, man, this don't sound right. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really feeling this this Ward situation right here. But I'm still fucking with Golovkin, but I'm not feeling this Ward situation. I'm not feeling this, but I'm gonna start doing my research. So this is when I started to dive into shit a little bit. And I stepped out of the casual realm and into fucking reality. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, wait a minute, man. You called this dude out when he was on his hiatus. The man came back and said something to you. And now all of a sudden you talk about how you can't fight him because the Lemieux fight? All right, cool. I can understand that. I can understand you can't fight him. You're not going to stop what you already got going on. You're getting the IBF belt. Cool. All right, I'm not going to stop that. Do your thing. But you said you'll knock out anybody. You'll knock out anybody from 154 to 168. You know what I'm saying? The Laura shit had already happened. And didn't want nothing to do with Laura. The next thing they talk about, Laura don't sell. You know, he can't sell. I'm like, but that's not what you know what? All right, maybe you got something going on. Maybe there's something into there, something with that. You know, I'm trying to give it some justification, trying to give some type of excuses, but the shit wasn't working. It just wasn't working, wasn't setting right with me. You know what I'm saying? every time I look at the man, I'm just like, something ain't right. But okay, you know what I'm saying? This is before Lemieux, so we'll see what happens after the Lemieux fight. And now it had me looking like, damn, is the man a hype job? You know what I'm saying? Because Lemieux got popped. He got banged, you know what I'm saying? So if he fights Lemieux, we'll actually see what this man's really about right about now. So, you know, the Ward talk sort of settled down because they were, Ward's trying to fight him when he has a fight. Ward's trying to call him out when he has a fight. Why do fighters try to call out other fighters when they're already signed to fight somebody? Blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? So I gave that scenario the benefit of the doubt. Although I knew better, I still gave it the benefit of the doubt because I was a Golovkin fan, big time. Golovkin went in, destroys Lemieux. You know what I'm saying? Jabbed him. His jab was sharp, crisp, just beat the brakes off him. So I'm like, bet. Okay. You are done Lemieux. There's nothing going on now. Okay, so what next? What's up with Ward? Oh, no. We got to fight our mandatory. And our mandatory is Dominic Wade. Like, well, wait a minute, man. Hold the fuck on, because you fought Lemieux in like October or something like that. You fought Lemieux in like October 2015. Well, you had between October, you could have, what was he? He was like the IBF mandatory, I think. Yeah, he was the IBF mandatory. Was it IBF? Yeah, he was the IBF mandatory. But your mandatory, you can fight your mandatory a year from the time you won the belt. You know what I'm saying? From the time that he became, no. Let me back that up. So the time that Willie Monroe, I need to look at that. I need to look at, not Willie Monroe, but Dominic Wade. I need to look at when he became the mandatory, because it might have been right on that time. Because it's not about when you win the belt, when you have to defend your mandatory. It's not about that. It's about when that guy becomes the mandatory. So if Dominic Wade became the mandatory in April of 2015, then April of 2016 is when he is due his shot. He's due his shot. But, you know, the IBF will allow the extension when you already, like if you just won, like David Lemieux, the David Lemieux fight, Golovkin just won that belt in October. So he would have, they would have allowed him to fight Dominic Wade by October of 2016 versus that. So yeah, he would have been able to do that, which is the reason why Joshua, no, I'm not even gonna get into that. That's a whole nother one, his duck. This is straight about Golovkin. But anyways, so he doesn't fight doesn't fight Andre Ward then. He goes on this thing talking about he's got to fight his mandatories, and you know, why Andre Ward this, and you know, just downing Andre Ward, just downing the man. And it wasn't really Golovkin downing him to a certain degree. It was more his team. But then when Golovkin jumped on it, when he chimed on, talked about, oh, we had the negotiations with HBO, you know, and you said we said we wanted to fight now, and you said you didn't want it, you needed a tune-up. Like, bro, okay, well let him get a tune-up then. What's the problem? Even if that was the case, what's wrong with him getting a tune-up or two? What's wrong with that? Isn't that what we're shitting on? Isn't that, not we, but what y'all are shitting on Tyson Fury for? Y'all are shitting on Tyson Fury fighting Deontay Wilder. You're shitting on him for not having tune-ups. You're saying he needs more tune-ups. More tune-ups. He needs this, he needs this, he needs that. He's not ready. But yet you were expecting Andre Ward to fight Golovkin without any tune-ups. Without none. He was just supposed to come straight back and fight with no tune-ups. After he hadn't been in the ring in what, like 2 years? Something like that? He hadn't been in the ring in a minute. A hot-ass minute. But you expected him to come straight back and fight Golovkin. But Tyson Fury is okay for him to have a bunch of mandatories. I wonder fucking why. But anyways, I mean, that's in hindsight. So at that point, when he called on the Dominic Wade, I was done with him. At that point, I was done. I'm like, hold the fuck up, man. You're fighting Dominic Wade. You're fighting Dominic Wade when you can be fighting Andre Ward. But you're fighting Dominic Wade. And you know what? So let me take that back. I wasn't done with him. I wasn't done with him, but I was pissed. I was pissed, and I made a video about being a skeptic now. I was from fan to skeptic is what the video is called. I was pissed. Pissed. You're fighting Dominic Wade. Dominic Wade, you're sitting here talking about people are ducking you, people are avoiding you, Laura is calling you out, Andre Ward is calling you out, and instead of fighting either one of them, you fight Dominic Wade. There was something in me that's like, this dude's ducking at this point. There's something wrong. This man is ducking. He's ducking. And then what put the icing on the cake for me, the icing on the cake, was this man coming out saying, because at this time he was calling for Canelo and he was calling for Cotto. He was calling for those fights, but they wasn't going to fight him at full 160. They wasn't going to allow him to weigh in at 160. Now he could have blew back up to 160, but they was only going to, like, Cotto wanted him to fight at 156. You had to weigh 156 in the weigh-in, and Canelo wanted him to weigh 155, which by every right, it's still in the middleweight division. It is the middleweight division. 154 through 160 is the middleweight. 155 through 160 is the middleweight division. So, were they within their rights to ask for that as the A side? Yes, they were. But this is my problem. This was my problem. When you're looking at these fighters, right? When you're looking at them saying, oh, well, Cotto was the A side because he was the champion, and Canelo was the A side because he was the champion, because Cotto just beat Sergio Martinez. So when you're looking at them and saying they're the A side, right? But they're ducking. How can the A side duck? How can Cotto and Canelo duck Golovkin? How could they duck Golovkin as the A side? Now, I'm doing this duck week for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It will have an accumulation. But when you're looking at it from the grand scheme of things right now, when you're looking at, you have these Anthony Joshua fans that are allowing him to dictate terms of what the fight is. They're making videos left and right about, oh, well, Anthony Joshua's the A side. He can say whatever he wants, and all Deontay Wilder can do is agree to it. He can do whatever he can. The fight has to be here. The fight has to be there. This amount of money. They can do whatever they want. So it's the A side. The A side can dictate terms. But yet, when it was Cotto versus Golovkin, it was, oh, Golovkin, no, you can't change the weights. But he wasn't changing the weights. It was a catch weight. It's a catch weight at at middleweight. At 156, 4 pounds off. So Cotto was telling Golovkin, hey, you can weigh in at you can blow up back to 160 or back to 165 or 170, which is his normal fight weight. But your weigh-in is going to be 156. If you agree to that, we got to fight. Golovkin wouldn't agree to it. There was nobody out here. Nobody. I was one of the only ones that was saying, wait a minute. But he's the champion, though. You know what I'm saying? And 156 is in the middleweight division. 155 is, 156 is, 157 is, 158 is, 159 is, and 160 is the limit. That is the limit of the middleweight division. Now, when people say, "Hey, I'm fighting a middleweight," yeah, you're fighting at the limit, which is 160. But if you remember when Bernard Hopkins fought Oscar De La Hoya for a middleweight title, he didn't weigh 160. He didn't weigh 160. I think he weighed 158. If I'm not mistaken, he weighed 158 on the way-in. Now, there might not have been actually there was a catch weight clause for that. Not a catch weight. It was some whatever it was, but he weighed in at 158 for that fight. So if now we're talking about, oh, since whoever is the A side, then they can dictate and say whatever they want, and all the B side can do is, concede to terms. Well, then why wasn't you all having the same narrative when Cotto said, Golovkin, fight me at 156? You want to fight 156 and we got to fight. 156 catchweight. Nobody was saying that. Everybody, oh no, the weight limit is 160. You can't do that. You can't do that. The fan pressure was on Cotto as the A side. He was the A side. He was the draw, not Golovkin. That right there was my downfall for Golovkin. That was the overall. At that point, I was done with the dude. I was absolutely done with him because this man said, "I will knock out anybody from 154 through 168." Well, 156 is within that range. I'm not sure what the fuck he was talking about when he said that. Is he was just saying, "Oh," but then he changed it up. He changed it up after Laura called him out. He changed it up. Him and Abel Sanchez changed it up and said, "Oh, well, we'll only go down to 154 for Floyd Mayweather for a big money fight." But that's not what you said. That's not what you said. What you said is, "I will beat anybody from 154 to 168. And I will not just beat them, I will knock them out." But when the 154 champion called you out, you wanted no smoke. You said, "He don't sell." And then when the 168 champion called you out, you wanted no smoke. None. You wouldn't allow him to get a tune-up or two. You wanted him to come straight back into the fire and fight you. That's what you wanted. I had a problem with that. I was done with the dude at that point. And then Canelo comes out, and Canelo, he gets the title. And then, he says, okay, because he's ordered to fight Golovkin next, which is the weirdest shit in the fucking world. That's the weirdest shit in the world because Golovkin had the IBF title and the WBA strap, and Canelo had the WBC strap, but the WBC ordered Golovkin. The WBC ordered another champion as the mandatory to another champion. So the WBC ordered the IBF and the WBA champion. They ordered that champion to fight Canelo. They ordered that fight next, which was the weirdest shit in the world. How can a sanctioning body order another champion sanctioning body to fight? Well, if that's the case, how about you order Anthony Joshua to fight Deontay Wilder? Order that. Order that. Order that fight. WBC, order that fight. Because you ordered Golovkin to fight, you ordered Canelo to fight Golovkin. And Canelo was with it. He was like, "I'll fight him, but it's going to be at 155. At 155. And then all the uproar came up. But Canelo, here we go again. Canelo was the A side, clear A side. And all the uproar. You can't do this. You can't fight at this weight. You can't fight at that. You got to do this. You got to do this. You got to fight full 160. You can't do that. You're ducking. You're ducking. But he was the A side, remember? The A side is supposed to be able to tell all terms. The A side is supposed to be able to say whatever they want. And all the B side can do is conform. That's it. Remember? We're looking at hindsight now, but that's how it is now. That's what you guys are saying now. Well, why weren't you saying that when Golovkin and Canelo were fighting? But here we are. So Canelo says, fuck it. Fuck the WBC then. Fuck him. I'm still a lineal king. And he drops that shit. And then Canelo goes and fucking fights Amir Khan. Right? So Canelo fights Amir Khan and destroys Amir Khan, even though he was getting outboxed. But Amir Khan's chin is like super low on memory. Bruh, shut up. So so Canelo was like Canelo fought Amir Khan, destroyed Amir Khan, and then Golovkin's like, "Oh, that fight is a disgrace. It's a disgrace." You know what I'm saying? It's such a disgrace. He's fighting a small guy. And then they asked him and said, "Well, what about Kell Brook? Would you fight Kell Brook?" And Golovkin's like, No, ain't no guys. No. He's too small. He's too small. But you were willing to fight Floyd Mayweather. You're willing to fight Floyd Mayweather, but you won't fight Kell Brook. You wouldn't fight Kell Brook. Why? Because Kell Brook's too small. But Floyd Mayweather was not. Oh, I get it. It was the money fight. Got it. Understand. But then just like what? A month later? Next thing you know, you're fighting Kell Brook? Just like a month later from that video, a video that you made, a month later, you're fighting Kell Brook. a month later. Like, bro, are we fucking serious right now? Are we serious? A month later, a month after saying that Kell Brook is too small, he's too small for you. It's a disgrace for Canelo to fight Amir Khan. And he fought him at a catchweight. I think it was like 152, 154, something like that. 155. He fought him at 155. So it was a 155 catchweight is what Canelo fought Amir Khan at. But you made Brook move up from 147 to full 160. To full 160. And fight. Absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace in his first fight in the weight class. It's a disgrace for Golovkin. It's a disgrace for Hearn for even negotiating that bullshit without a catchweight. You could at least did a catchweight. At least. You could have at least did a 155 catchweight. At least. You know what I'm saying? Kell Brook. At that time, I had him as the number one welterweight in the world. At that time, I did. And Golovkin was the number one middleweight. So if he was the number one welterweight and the number one middleweight, why would they not meet in the middle? Why would they not both give a little to meet in the middle? They didn't give anything. Nothing. Kell Brook moved all the way up to full middleweight to fight the middleweight king. Absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace. But, moving on. Moving on. So then after that, Golovkin, he's like, everything's sweet at that time. Then next thing you know, you get Danny Jacobs coming into the picture. And still, so now, right before the Danny Jacobs thing, they're like full-fledged now with this Andre Ward thing. Oh, Andre Ward is ducking, blah, blah, blah. Andre Ward don't want to fight. Like, what are we talking about right here? What are we really talking about? Andre Ward was calling this dude out because he called Andre Ward out. Andre Ward just agreed and was like, all right, well, let's get it popping then. So what happens next? Oh, well, I'm the number one middleweight. He's the number one super middleweight. Let's meet at a 164 catchweight. Hold the fuck up, bruh. Hold up. Didn't you just make Kell Brook move up two full weight classes from 147 to 160 to fight? And they were like, oh, well, Kell Brook is actually a big welterweight. He's big for the division. He's big. And Golovkin is small for the middleweight class. He's a small middleweight. How the fuck? Okay, this is the dumbest shit in the world when y'all say this. This is how you can tell it's a duck move. When you start calling a fighter a big 147 pounder or a small or a big 160 pounder. Now you can say somebody's big all you want. You can say they're big, but if they can make the weight, what's the problem? What is the problem? Kell Brook made 147, no problem. No problem. Golovkin made 160, no problem. Now, I'm not trying to hear that they're small for the weight or they're big for the weight. Can they make the weight? Do they make the weight? Yes. Do they make it? Fine. Cool. And I know people are going to come in with the Jarrett Hurd stuff and the Charlos as big guys. Do they make the weight? Can they make the weight? If the answer is yes, I'm not trying to hear nothing else. And especially if you're the IBF champion, because you can only gain 10 pounds. So I'm really not trying to hear nothing. But anyways, they say, oh, Kell Brook was a big middleweight, so that's why it was okay for him to move up 2 weight classes to fight Kell Brook. Well, what was Andre Ward? He wasn't a big super middleweight. He was just a regular super middleweight. He weighed 168. He made the weight perfectly. Fine, no problem. You know what I'm saying? He was going to move up. He was good because of his long layoff. It was going to be more difficult for him to make that weight because of his long layoff. So he was going to move up. But while he was at 160, he wanted that work. He was willing to give Golovkin what he was asking for. And they wanted to drain him down to 164. Mind you, you just made Kell Brook, the number one welterweight, move up to full 160. But you, as a number one middleweight, were not willing to move up to 168. You were not willing to move up one weight class, but you were okay with the guy that you just claimed to be a small guy, too small for you. You were okay for him to move up 2 full weight classes to fight you, but you wouldn't move up 1 weight class. And this at this point, I despise the man at this point, because all it was, oh well, look at why are all these haters trying to have Golovkin move up? Golovkin said all this time from the beginning that he wants to be undisputed. He never said that. He never said that. What he said is, I will beat anybody from 154 to 168. I want everybody, anybody. He always consistently said anybody. Abel Sanchez changed the narrative to, oh, well, we've always said that we want to be undisputed. We want the belts. We want to be undisputed. And we've always said that we will only go down to 154 for something big, or move up to 168 for something. If it's a big money fight, then we'll do it. We'll go up to 168 for a big money fight, and we'll go down to 154 for a big money fight. But, you know, we've always said all along, Gennady wants all the belts. So, fine. You know what? Even at that point, I was fucking done with the dude, but I respected him enough that he wanted all the belts. I was like, okay, fine. I'll stick with that narrative, because that's not what you said before, so I'm going to stick with that narrative. You know what I'm saying? I wanted the best to fight the best back then, but he really wasn't. But at the same token, he was pushing for undisputed, so I was okay. I was okay with him in that respect, but I didn't like the motherfucker at all. At that point, I didn't like him, but I was okay with the fact that he was going for undisputed. But then you get the opportunity for it. You know what I'm saying? You got punk ass Danny Jacobs at that time, not Danny Jacobs, but Billy Joe Saunders. You know, he's talking about him and Eubanks and both lose to Golovkin in the same night. I'm just like, bro, why are you so soft, man? Like, just, you talking real moist right now, dude. Like, for real, you talking real suspect. But you're trying to get Andre Ward at 164. And so this was the kicker. So after Andre Ward said, fuck it, I'm going to do what you won't do, and I'm going to move up, and I'm going to fight the big bad guy at 175. I'm going to move up, I'm going to get me a tune-up, and I'm going to fight the big bad guy at 175. Once he moves up, when Andre Ward moves up, all of a sudden, they never asked for a catchweight. Oh, we never asked for a catchweight. We never asked. Dude, you are, and they are literally on video saying, oh, well, it's the best at 160, and this is the best at 168, so it just makes sense. It's a 50-50 split, and, you know, they meet in the middle of 164. I don't see the problem with that. They're on video, Loeffner, Sanchez, on video saying this. But then after that, as soon as Andre Ward moves up to 168, and it's, well, we never, to 175, well, we never said that. We never asked Andre Ward for a catchweight, and I don't know where that came from. Like, bro, you fucking kidding me? You're literally on video. I literally commented on both videos. Literally. Like, calling you out for even asking for 164, 164 catchweight. There's all these fucking people in there saying, oh, it's fair. 164 is fair. It's such a fair thing. They're meeting right in the middle. What's the problem? What's Ward scared of? What's Little Knee scared of? What's Little Knee scared of? That's what they were calling him, Little Knee. What's Little Knee scared of? Because of his injury or whatever. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's just pathetic. Absolute pathetic. So this is my inauguration of Ducks as Golovkin. Now the very fact that this dude is talking about moving up to 168, now that Andre Ward is retired and for sure not coming back, is a disgrace of disgraces. Absolute disgrace of disgraces. This man is continuing on his ducking ways. He wants no smoke with Charlo at all. He wants nothing to even say to the man. Like, when it comes to Charlo, it's, oh, well, black fighters don't sell. Well, what did Dominic Wade? What did Willie Monroe? What did Adama? What did those guys do? They don't sell? The last I checked, Kell Brook is black. The last I checked, Kell Brook is black. And before you fought Canelo, Kell Brook was your highest purse. That was the highest gate you had. That was the highest purse. The biggest payday you ever had was a welterweight. That was your biggest purse, a welterweight, a black welterweight. But yet black fighters don't sell. When it comes to Charlo. Absolutely fucking pathetic. Duck number one, Monday Duck. Well, Sunday night, Monday Duck. Gennady Golovkin. BFTB, and I'm out.